Okay, so 7:02 meeting started. And hey guys, I can't stay. Okay, Crystal.
You're still okay.
So everybody who's here, state your name. Lee Wessler's here.
Jean Pillow is here.
Mara Roby is here.
Grace obviously is here. And Lee
Jason Allard's here.
and Jason.
And hi guys, I'm Kyle. Sorry to crash your meeting for the first time and to meet you all. I'm actually Jordan Stern's neighbor, and he told me to stop in tonight and check you guys out and see what it's all about. So I'm just here to be a fly on the wall and maybe ask some questions at the end. But it's good to meet you
Okay.
guys.
Cool.
Thanks for, so there's our public. Okay, any, so,
1, 2, 3, 4. And me. All right, we've got 5, so we're all right.
okay, so, anyone look at the last month's minutes, and is there a motion to approve them? While I go look at the agenda.
Yeah.
So any,
Somebody make a motion, guys.
Motion to approve.
Yep, I'll second it.
okay, hearing, any, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
I'll abstain.
Okay. There's no alternates to seat, I should mention. So treasurer's report,
It has been unchanged. We have $439 left in the budget. And our special is $2,193.22. And I just at this point would like to remind everyone, we actually have 2 months. If there's anything we want to buy, let me know now. So at the end of June, we'll lose the budget.
I have a question, and that has Lori Barefoot been submitting bills for the website? Because she has been paying it on her credit card, but has admitted to forgetting to bill for it. And that's part of our budget that we should be paying for. And has anybody taken over the website?
no, that I was gonna bring that up under new business.
So Grace, can you check to see if in this calendar year,
No, it has not.
then we should harass Lori for a bill?
Well, we have in the past, and she said she was paying for it. So,
Right,
But anyway, if you have anything else, please make sure you let me know, or we can discuss it now, so that as I say, the $439 will go back into the general budget.
yeah, so, well, I mean, we're on the subject, so what's wrong with it? So, it's, there's $250 a year charge. And we're supposed to, so she sent me a letter.
Okay.
So the website's hosted by GoDaddy. They require a credit card on file.
Yes.
$250 a year, but there's some smaller charges through the year. And we submit the charges to Grace. And it's not straightforward to print using an iPhone because it changes the printed font. I don't know what that means. So we need somebody to take this task over.
All right, get in touch with her.
And she left her phone number, so
Hold
whoever's
on a minute.
interested.
Wait. I'm fooling around with papers. Give me the number, please.
508-259-3318.
18. Lori.
So may I just offer, like, from my experience, what it involves? Someone's going to have to be the point person on that charge, their name, their phone number, their email address, and a credit card is required by GoDaddy. And they will alert you in advance of when they're going to take money out. There's the annual fee for website, and then there's the URL, which is an additional $20 a year. I think that's what Lori was talking about.
24. Mhm. Well, I will, as I say, I'll get in touch with her and, I'll get in touch with her is all I can tell you, and we'll go from there. Unless somebody else wants to step up, I suppose being the treasurer, I should do that. And I will if I have to.
Is anyone else interested in doing that?
Well, the website does need to be updated, and I believe I have the sign-on information, but I have Lori get that to me to make sure that I have the most current password to get on. And then we can do some updates on there, because obviously there's a need to have that page updated. There's still good information on there, but there's stuff that needs to be updated.
Okay. So any more questions for Grace on treasurer report? So, chairperson, I'm sorry, Jean.
I was just gonna say, Lori can go in and get the billing information from the site and do a screen capture and send that to Grace if she's put it on her credit card. It's kind of tricky to get that information, but it is possible. I've worked with GoDaddy professionally in the past. So if she can't get it to print, she could do a screen capture and send it over as a JPEG file so that we can reimburse her, because she shouldn't have been paying out of her pocket.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, anything else for Grace?
That's enough.
I thank you, Grace, for what you do.
Yes. Chairperson's report. I got an email from Christine Barroso. Is anyone on the commission interested in information about public record retention and disposition? I can forward you if you really want to read it. There's information on disposition of public records, management and retention of emails, Town of Woodstock equal employee opportunity policy, and grant policies. Does anyone want me to forward this information to them? Okay.
No.
Thank you.
Affirmatively, no.
I'm doing my duty. So moving on to old business, Jean, you're up, DRC.
DRC, there was no activity this past month.
Okay. Is Crystal still there?
No, she left.
Okay, so nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I didn't find any communications until the last time I was there, so.
Oh, oops. Yeah, I skipped communications.
Sure, fine.
I got a communications.
Oh,
So I apologize. I usually have two iPads at the same time, and I had to run from my car. So Maura Roby from Natchog River sent information on there was a Natchog River watershed implementation plan meeting held on April 8th. And we got a communication on that. If anyone's interested in the minutes, I guess. Is that right, Maura? You sent me
Yeah, I mean, do you
minutes.
want me to tell people about it now? I was gonna say it when it was like my time to talk, but
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
communication. So,
yeah,
away.
so ECCD is Eastern Connecticut Conservation District, because we have somebody new. I'll say the whole thing, and although I know most of you know, we've been awarded I work for them as well, so we've been awarded a Clean Water Act Section 319 grant from Connecticut Deep to address issues related to non-point source pollution in the Natchog River watershed. This is 8 municipalities. So us and surrounding towns, basically. And so this grant was written actually by Jean before she retired, and I'm going to be just advising on it. So the primary purpose is the funding will establish this watershed advisory board to work on issues that have been mentioned in the plan and recommendations. So it's mostly municipal representatives, there's conservation professionals, government agency folks, nonprofits. So anybody who's interested and is a stakeholder can come to the meetings. You can let me know if you'd like to be invited. We also will be looking for, once the board is established, to have some working groups. So things like forestry and wildlife and lots of different topics that will be decided by the board and whoever to do the recommendations in the plan. So there's up to 13 different types of groups recommended in the plan. So it's going to be what people, I think, have some experience with or have some expertise. So we're going to be holding also a kind of a watershed tour day to tour the Wyndham, the Wyndham
Willimantic Waterworks.
Willimantic Waterworks. I thought it was Wyndham. Some reason I thought it was Wyndham. Anyway, Willimantic Waterworks, and also, try to just really include folks that may have not been included in the past, like maybe some folks from Willimantic. So underrepresented groups will be invited, and there'll be transportation. So, if you're interested, it's going to actually be the third Tuesday of every month as far as the advisory board. That has been determined, but I'm still looking for a location. So that is most of that, I guess.
You said third Tuesday?
Yeah. Oh, at 1 p.m. to 2:30.
Great.
All
Any,
right.
any questions for Maura? Yes, sorry about out of order. So back to old business, P&Z report. I didn't see anything new pertaining to us. Grace, Ag Commission.
I was not able to attend this month.
Okay, I'm gonna go through stewardship. Jim's not here. Pollinator Pathway, Jean.
The Quiet Corner Garden Club had their garden symposium on April 5th, and I tabled the Pollinator Pathway outreach material at that event and put a lot of informational pamphlets out. I also gave a talk about rain gardens, and I was invited to do a seed starting workshop. I did winter sowing at the Eastford Library. I did that a couple weekends ago. I don't remember the date off the top of my head, but I was there representing the Garden Club and Woodstock Conservation at the same time. And I will be tabling the Pollinator Pathway display again at the Quiet Corner Garden Club plant sale at Woodstock Fairgrounds, and that is coming up the Saturday before Mother's Day. So I have been continuing to do outreach about the project, and I'm trying to develop a work day and find volunteers to help with weeding the Memorial Pollinator Garden at the Senexit Grange. So I'm haven't come up with a date yet, but Grace, you're laughing because I know how much trouble you went to find somebody to help you do the trail maintenance at
Really?
your woods. So I understand. Now I just got a lot of stuff going on the weekends, so and I know that's the best time to get people to help. But I do need to get out there and start to attack that knotweed. I did try to get I saw an ad for some church group that does community outreach. They say, oh, anybody need help with weed, gardening? I'm like, yes, I do. Like, no, we want to work with senior citizens. Oh, okay. But we definitely got to get up there before that knotweed gets more established than it is.
Well, do we have any option out of our budget? I mean, I know I heard that about the website, but is there any funds left available that could be applied towards some of that? Or specifically also what I'm thinking of is that site has no water. So, you know, something, I don't know, like a rain capture system or nothing too elaborate, maybe a rain barrel and a soaker hose or something that can be implemented at that location.
I don't recall if they have gutters at the Grange. So that, if you can't really use a rain barrel without gutters because there's
Right.
concentrated flow. But I do believe that it would be appropriate for us to be able to buy herbicide to do. If we cut back the knotweed, especially that big patch of knotweed, and then treated, it's going to take multiple attempts. It's got to be done either on a volunteer basis or we have to hire a licensed herbicide applicator.
Or you could just go the non-herbicide route and cut it down 3 times a year.
Yeah, three
Yeah.
times. Yeah, yeah.
It's getting someone to go over there with the equipment. I mean, I had that landscaper who signed up and said, yeah, I'll be there, and he never showed up. So finding someone with the right equipment to come over, I suppose I could ask on what the local Facebook pages to see if anybody'd be willing to go over there with a brush cutter and take down that knotweed on a scheduled basis. But I haven't done it yet. If anybody has any suggestions for someone to ask, let me know.
Well,
Yeah, plenty of people, just not anybody for free.
Yeah, right. I don't know what it would cost to have it done, and it's again, it's a challenge because it's not our property. It's I got to work with the Grange, which is never a problem. I'll be seeing Amy Thursday night, so maybe she has some suggestions too. But we got to get in there and work on it.
well, the other
Um,
thing too is, you're worried about getting people. I mean, now that we have some daylight in our lives, we could set up something, say at 6 o'clock at night, where you still got 2.5 hours of daylight.
That's
Right.
true.
I sure as heck, I'm not gonna go for more than 2.5 hours. Trust me.
Understood.
How about anything that's on public property, like versus, so like, how about that pollinator garden that was put in at the at Pond Factory?
I
Is there-
haven't been up there to look at it, so I can't report on that.
You're talking about the one the Girl Scouts put up?
Yeah, yeah, because that was the same thing, right? It's like they put it up, but there's no maintenance plan. It was just, we're gonna put it in and see how it goes.
I thought they said they were going to take care of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we spoke about it after it was done the first time, and I think the troop said that they were going to go back there, but again, we could check on that.
Yeah, another Girl Scout troop, or maybe the same Girl Scout troop, put in a pollinator garden at Roseland Park. And I don't know the status of that. I haven't been to Roseland Park since they redid the roadway, so I
Yeah.
don't know what it looks like.
I agree with Jason that if we have leftover money that we were just going to give back, you could just reach out to a landscaper and just see if it's something they could do, with some of that money.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we have the money.
Well,
does anybody have, a landscaper that they would recommend that might do this work for within our budget, once we figure out what the,
What
What's
about
left?
that grass monkey one that I see advertised on
Ooh,
grass
I don't know.
monkey?
Grass Monkey?
Alex Hill or something is,
Seems,
Well,
I don't know. That's the only
It-
one I've heard of.
yeah, see if there's anyone at the Grange who is a landscaper who, you know, we could throw them some money and, you know,
Like a Grange member, you mean?
yeah, yeah.
I'll talk to Amy to see
Yeah.
what she knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, ask Amy.
if you got any ideas?
That's a place to start.
Yeah.
But we gotta move on it. It's. I just-
Okay, so, you gotta move on it. Pick a date. Let's, don't leave me to email the whole world 55 times, please.
Wait a minute. I thought we were gonna pay somebody. So what are you picking a date for?
I'm not ready to pick a date. I want to talk to somebody first, because even if we were to go in there to do weeding, we need to do the treatment at another time.
Yeah,
So,
it looks like there's a tree that fell there too, so I mean, someone needs to go in with a chainsaw, like, there's a little more going on.
I haven't been by
All
the,
right.
so suppose I should take a ride.
You are retired.
I'm busy.
Well, if,
Find out what I've been doing.
if
More
Amy
time
has,
than me. Sorry.
Gene, if Amy has a Grange member who does
Yeah.
landscaping, I'll, as chairman, I'll approve $50 and, we pay him under the table $50.
I think it'll be more than that.
Yeah, I mean,
$50 under the table.
to take out the knotweed is, even just the first cut there is probably gonna be a few $100s.
Well, if it's a Grange member, maybe.
Yeah, maybe they,
But ask Amy and then, we'll take it from there.
Okay. I'll report back when I
Okay.
talk to Amy.
Okay, Sustainable Connecticut, Crystal's not here. Gene, any update on the POCD?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, go.
So I've been attending the meetings. They're the first Thursday of the month at 6 o'clock. And so that happens to be this week. I thought if I went there and I would just share my knowledge with them, somebody else would write it down. They're like, oh no, you have to write the conservation part. And the wetlands is writing the part about wetlands, and the recreation part, people are writing about recreation stuff. So I've spent a lot of time online reviewing our old checklist, which is very out of date. I looked over the one that I developed for the Natchog watershed, and there's good parts in there, but the references aren't good. I've been spending a lot of time looking to see what is the capacity of our town GIS system, because that's all we have, that and the UConn Center for Land Use Education and Research environmental conditions online mapping are what we use to do our analysis when we're doing site plan reviews. And so I've come up with a lot of stuff. And am I allowed to share my screen?
Yeah, sure. If I don't know how do I make you allow you?
Let's see if it works. I can share. All right. So I've been going through the maps because we did what we call the natural resource inventory when we did the first plan of open space and conservation. And so I went through and made a list of the maps that we used then and what's available now. So this is the most ridiculous thing. And the wetlands people were complaining about it too. But our town GIS does not have the right wetlands data available. They have the National Wetlands Inventory data. This is from the EcoMap, the advanced viewer. So we need to have a wetlands map added to the town GIS, but that's part of our natural resource inventory is wetlands. I put notes in there for myself because I think in October, they update the town GIS map with the parcel data. And when they're doing that work, we told them we wanted them to add things. They would do it at that time at no charge. This is hydrography along with watershed outlines. They don't have a hydrography layer on the map, which we need to do our assessments. So that's another recommendation. And I like the one they have on the eco map because it includes intermittent streams. So again, reference how to get that information. Cold water habitat, this is only available. What's interesting is they have the dots available, but they don't have the blue shading, which is the cold water stream area. But we will be looking at that when we're doing assessments because we want to make sure that we're not adding a lot of stormwater runoff to these areas that will dilute the cold water streams. So that's a layer I want to add. This is also not available on the GIS. This is the public drinking water supply watershed areas, all the places in blue, drain to a surface water intake. So that needs to be put on there. And that's something that has to be considered under the state policies plan for doing conservation and development plans. The difference is this is what it really looks like, because up here in northwestern Woodstock, we have land that drains towards Southbridge's reservoir system, and the state policy plan does not include that piece, but we do in our assessments. Stratified drift deposits. I think wetlands is also picking up on this too. This is areas where we have soils that are deposited from glaciers. It's a sand and gravel deposit, which is loose soils that have water in the, groundwater that's more available. It's at a higher rate, especially in southeast Woodstock. And so we had Rob Huss from DEEP years ago, 2002. He did these outlines for me as to where the most critical recharge areas for that is. I want to get that into our natural resource inventory and part of our, what we're focused on protecting. This is also not available on the town GIS. This is water quality map. This gets updated every 2 years, but anything that's kind of mustard colored on here are streams that are not meeting water quality standards in Woodstock. And that I want on there as well. And if they just link to the eco map thing, they'll have it all, because the eco map updates when the state does. This is on our town website, our GIS. These are two different types of critical habitats that exist in Woodstock. The dark rust color in the northwestern part of town is a Atlantic white cedar swamp. And in the more peach color in southeastern Woodstock is forested floodplains. And if you look, this is interesting to me. You look in the key, you see the acidic Atlantic white cedar swamp is listed as a critical habitat, but they neglected to include the forested floodplain in the key. So that's got to get fixed. Natural diversity database is on the town GIS. That's any place where they're endangered, threatened, or species of special concern. That gets updated, I think, every 6 months. Greenways. In 2006, one of the strategies we came up with in our first open space and conservation plan was to designate some of our waterways as greenways as a conservation strategy. And if we could protect the land along those streams, which all drain to drinking water supplies, that's going to be a big step. You know, of course, we want to either acquire the land or get good riparian buffers. The greenways map just shows Little River in southeast Woodstock, and it shows Still River in southwest Woodstock. Fungi Brook is also part of that in southwest Woodstock, and Muddy Brook and Roseland Lake are also part of that in eastern Woodstock. And this is the description that justifies that. But we want to make sure that we call out that these are, resources we have. Core forest area, I took this map right out of the Connecticut Conservation and Development Policies Plan. This was a map that was made by UConn Center for Land Use Education and Resource. That's not available on the EcoMap, and it's not available in our GIS. But when we're trying to talk about conservation of important resources, these core forests are really important for multiple reasons. So for wildlife habitat, for water protection and whatnot. And I'd like to be able to use that with our GIS in town as well. It is something we're required to consider according to the state rules. Agricultural soils. I am happy to report they finally put up the locally important farm soils. So you can zoom in on a parcel level and not only see the prime agricultural soils and the statewide important agricultural soils, but the local important soils as well. So that's something that we use when we're doing our site reviews. So we now have that available. And it's also important for the open space commission to look at when they're choosing parcels for protecting from farmland preservation. This is a really nice resource. Again, it's available on the UConn Clear site. These are soils for septic systems, basically. Which ones have low potential, which ones have higher or better potential. And I'd like to have that available at the parcel level when we're doing our site reviews. I mean, we can, as long as the UConn site stays there, and I think their funding is threatened, we can go back and forth and kind of hope that their parcel data is up to date. But this is something that I want to point out is available, and that we do use this. This made me laugh. This is our scenic roads inventory on the town GIS. What's missing from it? All the local scenic roads. So that needs to get fixed, because we asked that question, is this on a scenic road when we're doing a site review? The existing open space map, I know Delia's working on this one. I had recommended her to go to this site. This is the Last Green Valleys conservation map project, where they've been trying to keep up on open space for planning purposes. And as I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, there's one's missing that I can look at it and say, this one's missing, this one's not up there yet. There are 2 small farms that were preserved by the Connecticut Farmland Trust that aren't on here. So these are just off the top of my head. Want to make sure that information gets over to Delia so they can get added. And then I made a list of what I thought of for recreational resources or recreational aesthetic resources. I think the recreation committee is going to be focused mostly on active recreation, like soccer and baseball stuff. I think we do need to have an inventory of hiking and biking trails to determine if we need additional hiking and biking trails. I know of 2 boat launches in town, public boat launches in town. 2 golf courses in town. We have campgrounds in town. How many campgrounds? I know we have Beaver Pines. And then there's Meadowside, which is a seasonal place up in northeast Woodstock.
Black
Is
Pond,
Chamberlain Lake.
Chamberlain Lakes, thank you. I knew there was another one.
and Black Pond has a boat launch. It's a state boat launch, but
Yeah, Black Pond. Oh, yeah, Black Pond and Roseland Lake are the 2 that I know of. You could probably launch a kayak at Crystal Pond and at Muddy Pond as well, because you can carry them in. But two swimming areas. We can find out from Connecticut DEEP where do they stock trout, because that's an important recreational resource. Are there any horse trails, or should we have horse trails? Because we have, a lot of horses in town. Are there great birding areas? I remember Dr. Robert Craig was working on that for a while. He's moved out of the area, but he used to do a lot of information on birds. People can go birding at Roseland Lake, and they can go birding up in Nipmuc Forest, kind of things like that. I'm thinking in terms of ecotourism, and of course the Nipmuc Forest is what they call an ecotone. It's an area between one habitat type and, the range kind of overlaps between something more northern and more southern species. So you get a lot of more diversity of birds and stuff. Do have people have favorite scenic views in town that we don't want to see interrupted? That kind of thing. I'm asking you guys, I was a really quick overview of what's in my brain. What am I missing? For those of you that have sat through a development review process, what do we always look for?
Use rock walls, always, right?
Stone walls, okay.
Yeah. The contiguous with existing open space.
Do we have any way of tracking the people? I know last summer, some people were online saying, geez, my well went dry. Because it was such a dry summer. Like, maybe we don't want to have any building next to those areas. There's already not enough water. I don't know if that's something that's trackable.
Well, it's impact on existing aquifer. That's something we look at, right?
Yeah.
If it's a farm project, we want to make sure it's not going to impact on the aquifer.
Yeah, but personal
done that.
wells, you're pushing your luck.
Right, but that's.
I'm
one
not
thing
thinking
we commented
personal
on.
wells. I'm thinking somebody, because this is for development, right? So if someone comes in and says, hey, I want to put in a 25 house subdivision here
Oh,
on the 10 acres that's next to this guy whose well went dry last summer.
No, we don't look at that, but we do take in. I mean, that's a separate issue.
Right.
We have to plan. Connecticut's going through drought. New England's going through drought. So
Yeah.
that's not something we review at DRC, but that's a separate issue for our plan of open space.
I think, Jason, with the wells, there's a lot of really old homes in town, and
Right.
some of the
Right.
old homes still have dug wells.
Oh
And
yeah.
those
Yeah.
are the ones that are, one, more vulnerable to contamination from surface runoff, and 2, they're more vulnerable to drying up if
Right.
you have a drought. Mostly what we can do is just make recommendations that, and I think it's in our zoning regulations anyway, that when you develop a parcel, you want to make sure you're not adding stormwater runoff. You want to kind of manage all your stormwater on site. And
Right.
if it's done correctly, that should take away from those issues, but it's often not done correctly. Or if it is done correctly, people don't like the dips in their yard that, make it challenging to mow, so they fill them back in.
Right. Yep.
So, yeah,
Yeah, I think that kind of goes beyond what we would have any say on. That would be, planning and zoning.
I will be. I will, in my write-up part, I'm going to just kind of use our descriptions that we have and maybe update them a little bit. But there will be a focus on riparian buffers as wildlife corridors, and description of the function of riparian buffers at different widths. I don't know how much they'll let us put into this plan. Some people want it vague and others want it more descriptive. I haven't even, I asked them for an outline, but they haven't got one. So, and Amy has never written a plan of conservation and development before or been involved in a process. And she keeps bringing examples from Rhode Island. And I'm thinking that's kind of not the right one to use, because there's very strict, there are things that are required to be in the Connecticut one. So
Can't they go off of the old plan and just improve on it?
I think there's been enough updates in what should be in it, especially when, in the most recent years, which is now going backwards, there's been a big focus on environmental justice in underserved communities. And so that's something that we have to have on our plan that wasn't in our old plan. So you can't do it exactly.
No, but at least it would be, again, as a guideline, rather from going from Rhode Island, go from what we've already had here in Connecticut.
Yeah, we're also looking at other towns, other rural towns, and what they put into their plans as well. So it's a bigger assignment than I thought it was going to be when I said I'll do it. So, but I'm known for being outspoken, so they will obviously have to listen to my thoughts. Whether they agree with them or not is another matter. So is there any more thoughts about this? Because Wetlands is working on their section together at their meetings. And I don't know if one person is the point person and coming in and saying, okay, what do you guys think at the meetings? When I find out exactly how they want me to format it, I will be putting a copy out for everybody to review, and we can discuss it as a group. This whole project's going to be over by August, so it's not going to be forever, but it's really important, because if it's done correctly, the conservation plan will be part of the conservation and development plan, and it'll take place of a plan of open space and conservation. And if it doesn't, then we'll have to revisit making our own.
Right. Yeah, so just, make sure we have the aquifer stuff in. That's important. 'Cause,
Yeah, I do have that. And I know that when I talked to the people from Wetlands, they are also keyed in on the aquifer as well.
Good.
Right now, we can't really tap into that aquifer for any substantial amount of water, because it would draw water out from the Little River because it overlaps. And they already have flow issues downstream of the water treatment plant when we don't get rain. So I can't see DEEP giving permits for any large wells, but Putnam may at some point abandon Little River as a source of drinking water. Right now, they can't. And if they do, then we would have this water resource that we could use locally. And I think we need to keep it clean. That's
Right. Whatever we can do to maintain, minimize any environmental impact on our aquifer. Like we had that guy come in and he was here with us for a few meetings and we drafted the aquifer like overlay, which kind
right.
of died. Yeah, I just, I want to make sure whatever we have to say, we, make a strong statement on protecting against any environmental impact on our aquifers.
Right. So we don't, there's official aquifer protection areas, and that's for towns that do have these large town wells, like Putnam has one, Thompson has one. And there are regulations about certain types of activities that shouldn't take place over those recharge areas that they've outlined in their APA zones. And I think that we should recommend scrutiny
Right, right.
about that kind of thing. We
Yes.
can't regulate it, but we should be highly recommending that we avoid that type of activity in these areas.
Yes, yes. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Anything else for Jean?
And
Okay.
I kind of looking at the NatChog pre-development site plan review list that I developed when I was working on that project. And even that one needs to get fixed because there's certain things that are just not available anymore in terms of map resources that we point to. Whatever I come up with, hopefully will be available for all the NatChog towns. So there's an advantage to you, Maura. But
Good.
so pay attention and maybe we can get some of the NatChog towns to talk about this too. But that's kind of what I've been working on.
Yeah, great job, Jean. Really.
Thank you.
Okay, Grace, what do you, any thoughts how to organize the cleanup?
Well, Crystal had said, after we didn't get any response, she and her neighbors, I think, were going to go in there themselves and see if they could get anything done. I guess they've got chainsaws and a couple other things, and it's like, okay, we definitely should try to get over there and at least take a look at what it is. As I say, even Crystal didn't realize years ago we made the maps and everything for that, and we should do it, darn it. And again, it's a question of when people are available or willing to do that, because I ain't going by myself, guys.
No, you shouldn't have to. I did you see
Where
the
is
email I
this?
sent you, Grace, about if you wanted me to put it up on the local Facebook pages to solicit more help, and you never replied.
Because
Is this for the 50-acre woods or is this something else?
yes,
50-acre woods.
the 50
Oh,
acre.
is that town owned? I was confused. I couldn't
Yes.
go any of the
Yes.
dates that it is. Okay.
Well, as I said, I mean, when are people available? Just to, as I say, it could be an evening if the weekends are too messed up with, and I understand there's a lot going on, especially that the kids are still in school. I myself have issues with it, but
Grace,
I
are
really would
you
like to get in there and
adverse to
try to-
having community help?
What?
Are you adverse to having people from the community help? I mean, it shouldn't. Just
Well-
the Conservation Commission doesn't oblige us to always have to do everything. We should get the community to participate.
I guess, but you would have to preface it with, it is volunteer and this not insured or anything else. That's my only issue with having, people from the public. Somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, but it's town land. So
Yeah.
that they could get hurt hiking on the trails, whatever town, insurance covers it. We wouldn't be liable for anything.
I.
Right, but the people who said we're gonna go in with chainsaws that's probably not okay.
Exactly. But I mean, if you want to put it on Facebook, have at it,
I just don't have the date or where your meeting place is or any of that stuff.
Well, obviously, that's what we're looking at now. What is a date that some people could possibly help out at this? Obviously, you want to do it it's already May. Do it now. Are we looking at a weekend? Well, we got Mother's Day is on the 11th.
I thought you used to have the Boy Scouts help out with that.
No, I said they did when I first had it 15 years ago, not now.
But have
don't
they
even
been
know any
asked?
Boy Scouts now.
We can ask Vicki Embry she's the Eagle Scout coordinator. She might be able to get some scouts that scouts have to do community service work, and they might be willing to send out a team. All you have to do is ask. We lost Jason. They have to do that as to be a scout. So
Mhm.
you can ask them.
Well, what's everyone, is anybody willing to go out there?
I'm
Yeah,
I feel like I've given a lot of my time to the Conservation Commission. I have other obligations, and I'm going to step back from this one because
you go.
it's too much. So don't wait for me to be available. I've got too many things.
Yeah, I know.
yeah. If you'll have to. I same thing with me. I got a lot on my plate, but if it's a date where I don't have a meeting or some other activity, I'll be there too.
And I
All right, well, what
apologize.
about,
I can't do that kind of work because my sciatica and my back issues are I can barely do my own work in my own yard. Unfortunately.
all right, well, I'm busy that weekend and that weekend is Eastford. How about if we wanted to try a Saturday, the 17th? Anybody available for that day?
The 17th of May.
Yeah. It's National Armed Forces Day.
Yeah, I mean the afternoon. I'm good.
Okay. Anybody else? Hello?
Just tell me the date and the time and
But you-
where you're going to meet. Are you going to meet at the kiosk? Or are you going to meet at the
Yeah.
And I will
Kiosk is
I will
with
see if I can get people to sign up to help. People want to do stuff. They just need to be asked. This is what we need to do. We clear the trail. Got the area that's got the briars in it that's got to get cleaned up again. And I'm sure there's branches down and stuff like that. Tell them what to bring, and people will come. But would you want me to give out your contact information or just have them show up? I think I'd be more helpful to you to know how many people are coming.
Sure. You can give them my information. But is anybody else from the commission coming? Lee can come in the afternoon, say we hit it at what, noontime, 1 o'clock? What is good?
So I could get there like I have a karate testing that morning.
Oh,
So
okay.
I could get there like at 1 o'clock. I've already committed to overseeing black belt people. Try new black belts.
How
for
about if Saturday's busy, what about Sunday?
Sunday
Yeah.
afternoon. Sunday afternoon, I'm good. Sunday after 1, yes.
Okay, let's go for Sunday, 5:18.
And
At
I
1.
probably could rile up people I know too.
Yeah, huh?
And then check with Crystal,
Yes,
her neighbors.
yeah,
We'll send it out to the whole commission, because obviously there's only 4 of us here now.
this is
Maybe-
true.
I don't know what happened to Jason. Maybe he can do it, or others.
Jason, did you leave us?
It's
Yeah,
gone.
he's gone.
Fine. Okay. All right, well, I'll just send out an email to everybody and assume we'll go for Sunday, May 18th. Please God, it doesn't rain. At 1 PM.
At the
Is that good?
kiosk.
Good, Lee?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I'll put it on the Facebook page, Conservation Commission Facebook page, and I'll share it with the local pages and tell them to contact you if they can help.
Yes. Yeah, just let me know if they can come. And, just, you can say in it, bring gloves, bring water. Boots probably would be advisable.
Well, there could be some areas where there's thorns, so yeah, be prepared for, protect yourself from thorns and poison ivy, I guess.
Well, yeah, fine.
And biting insects.
Oh, well,
Always.
Boy, they're early this year.
exactly.
Black fly season.
They're not supposed to be here till next month. They showed up,
No, May, isn't it? Black flies?
but it's April.
Yes,
It's
but
almost
the one
May.
is in May. May 18th.
All right. Are we wrapping this up? We almost done?
Okay. Anyone have any meeting that they went to last month or anything coming up that they're aware of?
Mm-mm.
Hey, if not,
I went to the NatChog meeting.
okay. Then open discussion. Jean,
I had something. Ask somebody else first.
okay.
No, go ahead. Let's
I
get
don't
it
remember
over.
what it was. I have to think for a minute. I didn't write it down.
Maura,
Nope.
Grace,
No.
Kyle, you have anything to chip in?
No, thank you for letting me be a fly on the wall. I kind of was just curious about what you guys do. It's very cool stuff. That's
So
very
did we
interesting.
scare you off?
No, not at all.
Would you like to? We
It
could
is
use new
interesting.
blood.
What was that?
We could use new blood if you want to.
Yeah, I'm interested. Obviously, same as everyone else. I have a lot of commitments and time is hard to come by. But Monday nights are pretty good for me. I also am a volunteer with Muddy Brook, so sometimes they do a lot of stuff on Monday nights. So
Oh,
a little bit of conflict there. But in general, I'm just interested in learning more about what you guys do and possibly helping out. I definitely can help out on some of the physical side of things and then also
Oh,
just
good.
learn more about you guys.
Good.
But I was gonna, yeah, I actually, our farm was on your slideshow there, Gene. So we're one of the small CT Farmland Trust properties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the actual map block and lot number of that farm, but I wanted to make sure that gets on the map because we'd like to create corridors of open space and of course protect that also important farm soil, which is something that got created 10,000 years ago and we're not making more of it fast enough. We've lost a lot of it. It's in the bottom of Rosen Lake. So thank you for doing that. That's your family for that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll pass that along. But no, I mostly wanted to just get some information and I might reach out via email with some more questions. But
well, I was going to
just-
say, if you give me your email address, Kyle,
Cool. Yeah, I'll just type it in the chat, Grace.
Okay,
I think I remember what I wanted to add. The Quiet Corner Garden Club plant sale's coming up the Saturday before Mother's Day, and they will be having more and more native plants that they're selling, shifting. I mean, they'll still have vegetables and other things, but they're trying to go more towards native plants in their plant sales. So if you're looking to add to your native plant diversity on your property, it will be from 9 to noon on Saturday, hold on,
10th.
10th,
okay,
the 10th.
OOI. Gmail.
Okay,
Kyle,
I'm
is that all lowercase, son?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to, I haven't heard anything from Beth Bernard, so I'm gonna reach out to her and try to get her back. So anything else for the good or the order, or is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. This is
Is there
Mara.
a second?
I'll second.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
And,
Bye, everybody.
see you guys in a month.
Yep.
You know what?
Well, I'll
Lee?
see you sooner for the
Lee,
cleanup.
Lee.
Yeah, yes.
As far as Beth, you do realize she's gone over to deep and she's involved with forestry.
Right, she'll be a good, I'm gonna explain to her, I don't expect anything other than her to attend the meeting and give us her expert insight.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just, as I say, that's what she is doing now.
I know.
So,
I'm gonna tell her,
okay.
we're not expecting any time other than the fourth Monday of the month for an hour to give us her input.
And next month is going to be the third Monday because of Memorial Day.
Okay,
Right.
that's what I meant, the third,
Third Monday.
the fourth Monday of the month, except if the fourth Monday doesn't work, then it's the third Monday.
Okay.
Okay. I'll see you all later.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.